Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome once again to SRW TV. Tonight, it's round 4 of our American Invasion, the V8 Radical Series. It's Cow, your average sim racer here, together with Chef Toddy on comms.
Much love, legends.
And Nathan Shibby Howard behind the scenes, looking after the cameras on tonight's action. It's been another overnight long haul for the cars, travelling about 650 miles to get here to Sebring, where the cars will truly be subjected to the bumpiest ride they've seen, I think, in a while. Toddy, what do you think?
Oh, mate, it's a historical one, hey, with the aircraft runways, etc., etc. It's pretty lumpy around here. It's going to be pretty challenging, and I reckon we're going to get some pretty amazing shots from some front splitters, etc., and see how brutal this track really is, hey?
Well, that's it, buddy. So, yeah, the history of this place. So, it's sort of made out from the runways from a World War II air base. It's actually the oldest permanent road racing circuit in the US. So, hosting its first race on New Year's Eve in 1950. The first 12-hour Sebring was 2 years later. And also, it was the first US Grand Prix was held at Sebring as well.
Wow, would that have made it one of the first, like,
yeah,
1959
1959
races, right?
Well, I'm not sure how far back Daytona and Le Mans and those sort of races go. I know they'd be back near those eras. But what they say about this place, the current layout's a mix of smooth asphalt and those bumpy slabs of concrete runway, a car-busting, hoof-rattling experience, major bumps in several locations, and a wide variety of corner types, from those fast-flowing wide radius sweepers, like the last turn here, where you can see cars going 3 abreast here, to a tight hairpin round the back. So it's going to make it hopefully some exciting racing tonight. And gonna love it, buddy.
Yeah, sorry to butt in there, sorry. Sorry to talk over you, but yeah, I was just about to say, you were saying about that tight hairpin, and you can see how lumpy that tight hairpin is as well. So it's not just a tight hairpin, it's a very lumpy tight hairpin and a very lumpy exit of that tight hairpin that you have to use all the tracks. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's the big sweeper section there, and that's where you can see the cars sort of going 3 wide. There's multiple different lines you can take through there. I must say, I haven't driven a Radical around here, so I don't know what those bumps are like, but I'm sure that the car is twitchy, at the best of times until you get the tyres up the temp. So those first few laps might be a bit of a nightmare around here, I reckon.
Yeah, I tried to attempt about 25 laps. I did probably 12 that were all right, but man, it's a handful, hey, because it does get lumpy, and you've only got that front splitter and that dual adjustable rear wing. With all these bumps, it's kind of null and voids a lot of the little downforce you have sometimes.
Yeah. Got to look at Tyson McAvoy. So good to see Tyson's racing with us again. He jumped in at the last minute last week, had a little bit of a moment early on in the race, and copped a drive-through penalty, but fought his way back, I think, to finish about 8th or something. So it was a pretty good drive in the end to recover like that. So good to see him back. We can talking about last week's racing, Todd. Yeah. We were talking that the P1 time in qualifying last week was Scott Callahan with a 1:15.975. So I did do a bit of research through the week.
Yeah, are the results in? Come on, Kev.
The current iRacing world record time is 16:149. So he's almost 2 tenths under that.
Wow.
Right?
Smashed it. Didn't he the week before? Oh, the round 1, didn't he beat the world record as well?
That was Matty Jones for Performance Sim Racing, had the world record at Laguna Seca. So it looks like we've got a second unofficial world record here at SRW, buddy. Not only that, Scott Callahan did a 16:01 in the race, like the second last lap. So his tyres were 40-something laps old, and he still went under world record time. So that's pretty crazy.
That's incredible skill, and it definitely shows the caliber of the drivers we've had in Season 1 and what it's attracted for these guys to have a bit more competition, and all this competition stepped up so much for Season 2, sorry. So it's so awesome to see. So I wonder what Season 3 is going to bring us.
Well, look, we're still building. at the moment, we think we've only got about 7 or 8 cars out there at the moment, so maybe still a few of the guys running a bit late to come in. Hopefully we can get a good, decent field. But I know that, yeah, this track might be a bit trepidatious for the boys. So I don't. Maybe some of them have already called this as their drop round, and I'm going to try and drive these things around this bumpy place.
Yeah, 100%, and we did see it, Circuit of America as well. That a lot of the guys in other races and stuff like that kind of use that as a drop round because they're not really that practiced at it. So it could be one of those ones.
It was a tricky track for that man too. Yeah. So the Circuit of Americas, I don't think many of the drivers enjoyed that track. I do know, though, we are going to be missing our championship leader tonight, Matty Jones. He's actually away on work this week, so he'll be missing tonight's round. I think at the moment he's got a 53-point advantage over David Unger in second. And if we remember what happened to David last week, where unfortunately I think he got in trouble with, was it Steve Brown, I think, and got taken out. He ended up recovering and finishing in P8, so he did get some valuable points, so that does keep him second on the ladder at the moment, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, because he did have a bit of bad luck last week, didn't he? So, and he did fight his way well back up. And you could definitely tell his time in the car definitely paid off last week, the way he fought back and how he cleanly fought back also.
You're right, buddy. He's smooth and consistent, Dave, and he confessed that he's been driving these things for 10 years, so he loves them. And so it gives him good control. Yeah, good control, and but also, he knows them, so he knows where you can push it, where you can't. The other person to talk
over, just behind Steve Brown there too. So.
Yeah, well, at the moment I can't see Scotty Callahan. Oh yes, Scotty jumped in and maybe jumped out, so maybe some reboot a PC there or something. So, yeah, look, the times at the top at the moment, was it a 155.2 for Steve Brown at the moment? It's on screen. That's a snappy looking livery there. I like the matte black. It really
kind of nice. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm sure that there's a few bits of meaning on that car there for Steve.
He's got the Aussie flag on the back rear quarter by the look of it there.
Oh, nice.
Just in front of the front wheel arch around. That's quite a cool number plate, isn't it? A number board on the side of this car is actually the Australian outlaw line of the flag. If you look closely, that's quite cool. I like that.
It could even be a similar paint to the E Series. The Formula E.
Yeah,
I can't remember what those liveries were like, but it does look pretty cool out there, Steve. And we know that it was just unfortunate last week. I think I was watching back the review today, guys, and that corner incident. I think Dave also didn't see that Steve was there, so he's come out and Steve's gone to avoid, ended up on the grass and then slid across and took out Dave on the turn. So I think he was a passenger just as much. So we're not going to hold anything like against any of the boys here, because we know that none of the contact's deliberate. It's just good hard racing, and sometimes we push the car that little bit too far, and it doesn't work out. I know I had a great spin in Super 2 on Sunday, buddy. Sent me from 4th back to last.
Oh, wow, really? Oh, did you have a really nice qualifying as well, did you?
Oh, I think I qualified 5th, but I had a decent start, and then, around the back, I just lost sight of my brake marker and locked up the brakes and slid, and then I had to wait for the whole field to go through. So, but that's what happens. Well, look, these are a different V8 beast. The Radicals, much lighter, 700 kilos with driver.
Yeah, with driver and all fluids. And they've just come out with the SR10 this week. Did you see the announcements? So I'm not sure. I couldn't see what the engine specs were and stuff, but they've always named it by cylinders. So it could be interesting if they've actually made an SR10, a V10 one.
I remember reading something last week, and there is actually a Hayabusa V8 Radical out there that, so that's the big high-end super bike, and they created a Hayabusa engine Radical. So that would be crazy too.
These are the SR8s were actually based around 2 Hayabusa engines that are pushed together, and then they've custom made the crankshafts and everything for these. So that's about as high as they could go. So I don't know how they've made the SR10 faster, but it looks a bit wider and a bit fatter. So it might be, because the SR8 is 2 Hayabusa 4 cylinders smashed together, And then SR10 must be, don't know. How many 5-cylinder engines could they make in a motorbike? I don't know. How many they have? Would it still be the format of 2 motorbike engines or what? I don't know.
I did see a Formula One thing on, I can't remember which engine manufacturer it was, but that actually, with the Formula One cars, they built a 1-cylinder engine, concept engine.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, and then they just, join them together. Well, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's no replacement for displacement, just bulk. Yeah, amazing. Hey, it's... Oh, sorry. Yeah, so...
Ford Eco, what'd you say? Ford Eco Boost engine, Shibby is telling us. And what was the capacity, sorry, did you say, the size? 480 brake horsepower, 380 pounds of torque. So,
Very nice.
thank you for the information behind the scenes there. Yeah, power to weight ratio.
What?
586 brake horsepower per tonne.
That is insanity. That is like, what person sat there and go, I'm going to make the most mental car ever. What can I do?
Light.
From stuff that's just sitting around in my shed, basically.
Well, I think also, that it's actually a fairly affordable series. I mean, we saw in the last round of the V8 supercars in Australia that the Radicals were actually one of the support categories, and they looked awesome. I remember watching the onboard camera and then thinking that the iRacing has got it smack on, with the way the inside of the car looks.
Nice.
Just having a look here at, is this Dean Sinkovich we've got up and running?
Yep.
I think we've only got one Sinkovich, have we, tonight? It looks like it would only be a small field tonight, gents, so maybe a few of the guys having commitments. I know it's not easy to make every round of every series. I've already missed one round of the V8s because of Mother's Day. I definitely wasn't getting myself into trouble that night by trying to race.
And that might have been the case of other people also, so...
Yeah, well, I had to fill in for you on Wednesday, was it, Toddy? Because it was your birthday last week. So happy birthday
thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. So
that's all right.
I actually sat back and drank some beers and watched your stream, so it's actually pretty cool. So it's really cool to actually have a night off and watch some streams for once rather than...
I think you might have even tried to crash the stream, didn't you, buddy?
I did, actually, and it was the wrong Discord. It was pretty funny, but the guys picked it up. Our awesome producer, Nathan Shibby Howard, picked it up very, very quickly, and the boys did too, and they kicked me out before I could say a word. Clicked on the wrong button, so I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, totally wrong time. So apologies to everybody, if any words did come out.
That's all good, mate. We're looking at Tyson McAvoy once again, so he's, don't know if he's done any practice this week, but I know he jumped in at the last minute last week, so I'm sure he probably actually wanted to go out and do a few laps and get a bit more familiar with the car. And Tyson's one of those guys, my team captain, but he's also quick in just about anything he jumps into. So not surprising to see him in P4 quali at the moment and pushing hard, only 3/10 behind Nathan Verney at the moment. But
very nicely done from Nathan Verney as well. He's found some pace around here. It might be one of his favourite tracks around here, maybe.
Well, at the moment, we have a 155.16 is Steve Brown in P1, Dave Ungar a couple of tenths back with a 55.3. We've then into the 56s for Nathan and Tyson, and Dean and Leon are in the 57s and beyond. So, look, small field, but I'm sure the guys are going to give us some great action, and hopefully we can, hopefully there's not too much danger and trepidation with all those bouncing. Look at that. It's almost like the porpoising of the current Formula One cars, buddy.
It is almost, hey. And we've got a bit of action in the chat there. Stephen Sinkovich isn't racing tonight, but he's just put in the chat there, go SRW. Much love to Stephen Sinkovich out there on
Thanks, boys.
Watching. And we've got John C. Is it John Callahan, is it? Sorry, can't really see the rest of it, but good luck, Dave Unger. Yeah. So good luck, Dave Unger. So he's got some supporters out there. Obviously, he's been driving his cars for quite a while, so we've got some supporters out there of Dave Unger. So it's going to be such an awesome race, I think. It's going to be very interesting to see if David Baxter's going to have to be in the car too much tonight.
Oh yes, sorry, our race controller, correct.
Yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, look, it's a small field, guys, but we are still going to throw our full production and commentary behind everything tonight because, again, let's hope we have some great action. And these cars, I think they're going to be tricky around here, where I know that experts apparently say that the 12-hour here at Sebring is twice as hard on the cars and the drivers as the entire Daytona 24-hour. So even though we're not doing a 12-hour race here, I'm sure that the car is just going to be so bumpy, and with the lightness of the car, it doesn't take much to unsettle them. So they're going to be a handful when the tyres are cold, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll see a lot of parallels to last week's Miami round in the F1 as well. I think, you know, how bumpy that is, and being an American track and all those sort of things. We might see the same sort of similar action from that sort of bumpiness. What were you saying earlier, Cowie? That was it Max Verstappen said he felt like his... Sorry, you go.
Yeah, so he was saying he was, you know, he almost fainted out there, you know, just from the bumpiness. I think, as you said, they took some, you know, ran fairly light water in his car too, so maybe he was a bit dehydrated too, and it was hot.
I think I was saying
that was a hot race.
Degrees, like, on track kind of thing. So.
Well, I remember seeing the cameras on the drivers at the end, and I think Charles Leclerc looked like he'd been, you know, and Max Verstappen both looked like they'd sort of run a marathon, you know, and look, we all know that those cars are extremely physical, and now you add this porpoising that's been going on with the ground effect rules, and you know, was it George Russell was saying it's not sustainable. His back was sore after, I think, the third round, race 2 or race 3, and you know, had to go and see someone about it. So, you know, look, it's definitely something they're going to have to look at, because but they're already talking about changes to a couple of the corners for next year for Miami to try and deal with it. But yeah,
they did talk. Lewis Hamilton said it was like driving through a shopping centre car park sort of thing. So
wow.
We just had a reply from John C on the chat there. He said, "No, it's John Cashin. I'm Dave's mate from Melbourne." Well, big love to John Cashin there. He's just trying to get the live stream up on his computer at the moment. So he's loving the stream as well. Buddy. So big shout out to him.
Well, look, Dave and Steve, they're about a second clear of Nathan in third position. So it's going to be those two battling up front. Again, we will get to see if the draft or the tow is significant here at Sebring. There is a couple of places where I'm sure you get a little bit of a tow, but I don't know if it'd be quite as significant as Road America, or, you know, even last week's round as well.
Yeah, and it seems like a very, very open, quite a windy, chill sort of track as well. Like, there's not a hell of a lot of cover there as well. So
maybe you got the track details for tonight, buddy?
So, you know, if you get a horrible crosswind, you know, and you're trying to go through some of those bumpy sections, and as you can see in the car now on that track, you see how much they've just, that concrete section of the runway is going down right now, how much they've just patched up pieces with just bits, you know, over the years.
That's the smoothest bit of concrete out there. Because you watch the car as it comes around this corner and it starts bouncing. Look at that.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
that's
you can just see, you know,
because of the heat.
A tiny little bit too much throttle in the wrong place there, and you know.
Thankfully, it's nice and wide, so hopefully people have got enough runoff. But you do have to use all the track on this at Sebring. So yeah, it's a fine line, right, Kelly?
It should give them, you know, those first the last turn and that first turn being so, you know, those wide radius fast corners. It means you can take different lines. So you could try and go fast in and slow your opponent up on the run out. You can try and sort of take it a bit tighter and get a better exit. You know, there are multiple ways that you can tackle it, and multiple lines. And the great thing about any track that offers multiple lines is it's generally conducive to great racing.
Yeah, most definitely. Overtaking, you gotta love it. around these corners. I'm a big fan of Tyson's livery, actually. I kind of like those just really subtle kind of chrome stripes down the side. Kind of cool.
Well, apparently
Catches the eye.
it was supposed to be my livery. He did up this livery for me for the Radicals, and then found out that I was commentating it. I told him, so he said, "Oh well," and I think he's managed to, earn up the brownie points with the missus so that he can race on a Tuesday night.
Oh, very nice. Well done, Tyson. We all know it's easier said than done, bro. So.
Well, you need to get your missus into sim racing, but then you'll probably run out of time because she'll want to race on Tuesday nights. No.
Oh, exactly right. My mum's getting into it while she's over here on holidays at the moment. She's actually pretty quick, so maybe I can teach her a bit.
That's it. Yeah, my mum hasn't had a go on the sim yet. She's worried about her back. But mind you, I've got it set up pretty comfortable. And it's just an old car seat that I've had for a few years now, and it's molded to my body, so I don't get a sore back. So I haven't thought about changing it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
We're
needlessly spent too much, but here we go.
We're coming up almost the end of quali, so we will. The cars are going to disappear on us in a moment. Will Tyson get to finish his lap? Perhaps.
Sorry to interrupt. Scotty Callahan was in and hasn't come back. Hopefully he's just going to come back from the race and start from the back of the grid. What do you reckon, Cowie?
Let's hope so, buddy. But he has tried to get in, so I haven't seen if he's having any technical difficulties. I know Steve Brown did drop from packet loss there, but he's back in again. So hopefully the iRacing gods aren't going to be, or the internet gods aren't going to be too capricious tonight. Awesome. Okay, so Shibby just telling us Scotty's up in the chat. So perhaps just maybe a small field wants to try and fight his way through. See how we go. It's quite an interesting track here. 16 turns make up the Sebring International Raceway. We've got
the original format you said was 8 miles? Over 8 miles?
Yes, something like that. But that was back in the 50s and 60s when they drove big, long tracks back those days. But we come out of the Sunset Bend onto the pit straight. And then we go through turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the big bend where you go around onto that middle straight into the hairpin turn 7. Then we've got the Fangio section through 8 and 9. So that must be a Fangio chicane or sweeper maybe. And then Collier sweep around the back at turn 11, Power Corner turn 13, Bishop Corner turn 15, and Le Mans Corner is the last corner, 16 onto the main straight. How cool is that?
I can tell why they call it Le Mans Corner. Very fitting.
Well, that's it again. I think if we do that research, Toddy, you'll find that maybe the 12-hour Le Mans and Sebring, and what was the other one that used to run? There's the Ford versus Ferrari versus Ford versus Ferrari. So it's
yeah, I know what
Sebring. Yeah, Sebring is one of them. Le Mans and guys, if you know in the chat,
yeah, put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat for us, but there is another one, and it's probably the big obvious one that I'm forgetting. So
not Daytona, but
I don't think
an old one and a more historical one.
It could have been a Daytona 24-hour, because that is a 24-hour. Maybe that's the one. He might have hit it on the head there.
Or the Indy 500. Who knows?
Who knows? So we'll see if
here we go. Daytona. Yep, Daytona. Matty Jones is on here saying Daytona. So
there we go. Cool. Thanks, Matty. All right, so we have pole position goes to Steve Brown with a 155.157. David Unger in second position with just less than 2/10 back. Nathan Verney with Locked On Racing in third. Tyson McAvoy Performance Sim Racing. Dean Sinkovich with Team SRW. Locked On Black Sheep Racing. Leon Williams in number 6. And Scott Callahan, our race 3 winner, bringing up the rear of the grid.
That's cool. So that's good to see him back actually on the grid. So it must have been just a glitch, a computer glitch for qualifying. So, oh, good. I'll leave it back to you. Sorry.
Ah, that's it, mate. All right, so we're getting close to a start. We'll look for the lights, see how these guys get away. Again, we've seen a tricky car. This time it's starting on concrete and not asphalt. Will that make a difference?
Oh
We're about to find
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Beware. Weary on start, guys.
Well,
Hold
look,
ties lap one.
no aids in these cars. You've got to blip the accelerator to shift. So
And you're
it's
gonna be very gingerly
tricky.
on the accelerator on corner exits and start of the race. So here we go.
Wheel spin is your enemy. All right. Here come the lights. 5 red lights, they'll go out, and we are green at round 4 of the V8 Radical American Invasion. And that's a great start from Dave Unger around the outside. Steve just got bogged down a little. Tyson McAvoy trying to go around the outside of Nathan Verney into turn 1. Oh, is out.
A non-starter at the back, was it? Was that Scotty Callahan never got off the line, or is he just got off the line real late?
Maybe a bit of wheel spin there. Oh, Tyson has got into a spin. Oh, we've got the sig-off. 3 boys have all turn 3 coming into the big bend, and I think Tyson started that all on his own. Dean's locked it up in sympathy, and poor old Nathan Verney got caught out there, and looks like he might have suffered the worst of the damage. That wing looks a bit busted, doesn't it?
It does, but we have seen Nathan Verney drive with a wing that's worse than that and pretty fast. So
yeah, look at that. And then poor old Nathan trying to run on the outside had nowhere to go.
That is not the jam you want to be in a sandwich. That is, you don't want to be the jam in the sandwich, do you? That is not nice.
We'll have to see how that car feels for Nathan, because I remember last season I was racing around in the Radical with a broken wing, and the car felt all right. I didn't even notice it. And you guys were commentating halfway through the race.
Yeah, you were actually going faster.
I was going faster, the boys are telling me.
I think it was about 1.2 seconds faster with a broken, which is what looked like on stream, a really broken wing. And you were just like crazy, just clawing spots back. And we were sitting there commentating going, hang on, does he realise his wing's like quite broken? And he just kept on going faster. So like, oh, okay, so be it. And then the interview after the race, you're like, oh no, I didn't even know I was broken. So
well, I just couldn't see it because you don't really have a rear vision mirror, and I actually don't use my virtual mirror in a lot of cars. I think I did in this one, but it still doesn't show the wing. But yeah, also just a reminder, guys, we need to thank our sponsors, major sponsors. Actually, I haven't mentioned them tonight. DSL Welding Services. It's always awesome to have you guys on, and we keep seeing the DSL action replay. Also, the Promo Department safety car. Again, thought it might have come out there, but all 3 of those cars got away, so maybe that's why Race Control decided not to bring it out. Is that?
I think it is though, so he's obviously damage, maybe.
The car's probably hurting, yeah, so he's going to get it fixed. Nathan Verney has elected to stay out.
Interesting.
Well, it'll be interesting whether Dean can make it to the end, having pit and fuel, but sometimes when the car feels horrible, you've got no choice.
There could have been a lot of suspension damage as well in that, because he was the one that was in at speed and hit 2 cars essentially, so he pretty much hit a brick wall. So
water temperature, could be water temperature going up, those sort of things too, might blow the engine. So again, you'd rather be circulating out there and still be on the lead lap. He's now just got to be about 20 seconds behind the field, so he's got to make his way back up. Already we can see Scott Callahan has made his way up into 3rd position. He's currently 4 seconds behind Steve Brown, who is within a second on Dave Unger. So there's a battle going on up the front there, Shibby. Yeah, right on it. Awesome.
And Dave Unger's had a beautiful, I think he might have had a beautiful passing in there, because he's at one spot. So it's just a great start.
He got off the line, and I think Steve just bogged down a little bit on the line. We might try and have a look at the start in a moment there, Shibby. We'll just keep an eye on action for the moment, because they're coming into turn 16, Le Mans corner. This is the bumpiest section of the track, and you can just see how unsettled the car is, and you've got to be really sort of ginger on the gas there to keep the power down. You see the guys trying to get that tight run out. 3 laps down now, or 2 laps down now, so Those tyres should almost be in the right window, Toddy.
Yeah, they should be just really nicely in there. They should be just dialing it in right now. As you can see, Scotty Callahan, I think he might have intentionally just, he might have just had a glitch at the start there because he was just a completely dead car off the straight there. He seems like he's gotten a lot of pace now. He's got those tyres into their optimum window.
All right, so we're going to try and have a look at the start here. So if we have a look on the left, I'm pretty sure, Dave got a great start. I don't think sort of Steve had a terrible one. And Scott Callahan, I think maybe real life just got in the way of Scott. We'll have to see if he makes it onto the podium tonight. We'll get to ask him that, but perhaps, the real life going on and you've got kids and everything else to deal with. Well, there's a little bit of a broken wing there for Tyson. We can see a kink on that there. Leon Williams currently running in 5th position. His car looks pristine. Nathan Burney in front of him with that bent up wing. But yes, look, as far as Scotty goes, plenty of times, I've gone to start a race and I'll hear someone screaming out my name and I've had to jump off, so
yeah,
that's what happens in real life, buddy, doesn't it?
Yeah, as long as you're back for the race, that's one of the definitely one of the pros versus the cons of sim racing.
Nice confident move around the outside there by Tyson McAvoy. Pretty sure Liam didn't really fight that off. Leon just a little bit off the pace in these cars, but it's great to have you with us, Leon.
Down the straight, drag race down to turn 1.
Go, Steve. You got this on the inside. No, they're 2 abreast. This is what I was talking about, Toddy. Look at that. And Dave's run it around the outside and retained the spot. Nice call.
But you can definitely see how lumpy this track is, and especially in this view, guys, and how lumpy and how hard it is to make a move stick. Because you can see how he made that stick and he was on the inside, but Dave Unger had the less lumpy part of the track. So yes, there's plenty of lines. He had the less lumpy part of the track, so he ended up being able to make it back in front of him. But look at that. Very awesome camera work, Shitty.
I don't know if it's any less lumpy out there, but again, one of the things great about that Le Mans corner is you can go 3 abreast, take 3 different lines, and it just conduct into great racing. But I think we did ask the question if we thought the toe was going to be significant around here at Sebring. So I'm thinking maybe down that back straight into 15 and 16, that toe is really bringing the car behind into play. So at the moment, Steve really hot on the heels of Dave Unger here. Scott Callahan 4 seconds back. At the moment is taking a little bit of time out of these boys, but not as much as you think. So
the aero watch probably won't be as strong, especially because
Dave's gone a bit loose. He's caught beautifully, but that has given Steve the chance to go up around the outside. And he's got the job done as David just files him behind. So Dave, we're thinking, all right, that's all right. I'll get the toe coming up here, and I can have that spot back.
Bit of pressure mistake. Look at that. Hey, Kelly.
That was a great save. I think half of us would have lost it because that car rotated a fair way round on Dave there, and he caught it extremely well.
Showing.
Now, I missed what you said there, Shibby. You were trying to let us know about something. Okay, so Chevy just having a look at the stats there, and Scott Callahan is on the charge. He's currently about 0.8 of a second quicker than these guys battling up front. He did a 154.5 last lap. That's still with I'm pretty sure these cars are probably limited to 50% tank, so it would have been full at the start to get to the end. So it's just raw pace. It's not a light car just yet.
And he's up 4 positions, so he did actually finish. He did start in last, and he actually had a very good start as well. So.
Yeah, missed the start as well. So, but we can see here Tyson, Nathan, and Dean all suffered damage in that incident on lap 1. Dean has gone in and fixed his car, whereas Tyson and Nathan have soldiered on. And I think somewhere there, Tyson has actually passed Nathan. Can we have a look at that? Highlight there. Thanks to DSL Welding Services, please, Shibby. Right. So this is moments before. So Nathan's got it sideways, and that's a great save as well from Nathan.
Oh, he caught that so well, and that was this exact spot of his last incident why his rear wing is bent there. That's where he got caught up last
Well,
time. So.
problem that one wasn't his fault. He got caught up in the middle of Tyson and Dean. So, but the battle's back on. So again, both these boys showing some good pace, but you can just see that the car is difficult. You know, when it's pristine. Oh, Tyson's run deep. And these guys are both driving with wounded machines, so both of them suffering. You can see there a sort of bit of counter steer, almost like a snap oversteer that Tyson was dealing with then.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's a bit of a change between the concrete parts of it as well, because not only how lumpy they are, just because
Dave's a lot closer. Dave's a lot closer now, mate, in the tow. You can see him coming up on the rear. Is he going to make a move at it here? Oh, he's coming inside.
Nathan Bernie with the brake. Oh, he's going to... Oh, he almost made
Tyson. I think Tyson just made sure there wasn't enough room up the inside for that move. So, nicely driven there by Tyson.
Nathan Bernie. You see that inside line's definitely not quicker than the outside sweeping line of that hairpin.
Well,
These guys, they're getting way too on the inside. It's just not the best exit. They're just losing a lot.
I don't know, but again, that was a defensive line, so you cut that. Oh, he's gone a bit deep, but he's pulled it up. But that's going to give Nathan another run on him as they come through the big bend, or coming up to the big bend, I should say.
There we go. I'm sure the arrow wash.
They're going to set it up the inside here. Tyson's gone inside to go defensive. Nathan, can he outbrake him? Oh, Tyson's gone fairly deep there. Nathan's just pulled it up early, going for the run. Yeah, could see that happening now. Nathan's back on his tail again, trying to sweep around the outside of turn 8.
Oh. Can he make it stick? This draft is strong, guys. Wow.
There we go, coming through the Fangio S's, is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Fangio S's.
All right, so...
We'll run with that.
This is an awesome battle at the moment. Shibby's got a wide view for us, so we can have a look at this from an awesome angle. But you can see here that these guys are battling hard on track. We can see Dave Unger, and just looking at the timing, Dave Unger is also close to Steve, but not as close as this battle. These boys with their wounded machines, still pushing them hard out there, Toddy.
Yeah, and you can see how far they have to go outside of the track, or how far you can push it out past the limits of the track. Look at this. This is a defensive move and a half. Come on. Who's going to be able to make this stick? Is Nathan Bernie going to be able to make this move stick? Because he's staying out of that slipstream, but he's just trying to stay out of the dirty air.
Oh, look at that. Nice smooth.
Section, I think.
See that bump there? Just right when you want to put the gas down, the car bounces. You can see Tyson just...
sideways very, very quickly.
Yeah, Tyson just got a better exit then. So I think that tight line's actually a line that works quite good. But as I said, there's probably half a dozen lines you could use around that turn.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. There's an art to using the draft down the straights, and then trying not to get into the aero wash. These guys try to stay out of each other's aero wash.
Oh no, Nathan! He's caught it, but that's going to cost him 3 or 4 seconds. So now that battle stretched out, and Tyson can breathe a bit easier now and just focus on getting to that critical lap so he can fix the car.
Yeah,
all right, so back up.
More damage with Nathan Bernie's car also.
Yeah, back up to our battle for P1, 2 and 3. They're all really close now. Scott Callahan within 1.3 seconds, probably inside that now. He's within 1.2 seconds of Steve Brown. So both of these intervals under a second here. And Steve's run a little bit wide there, bit of grass. Is that going to give these guys both an opportunity to use the toe and bolt past?
They're on the train, so choot, boys, let's go.
Well, it's not really a DRS train in these. Scotty looking up the inside. Dave's gone wide. Scotty trying to keep it tight. Oh, bounces through the exit, but he's got it done. The fast speed move. Excellent driving. It was just bouncing through the whole ship. We're gonna have a look at that again from the outside. So we were watching the bouncing, but here, look at it here. So I think Dave's just... Yeah, I think Dave was looking for the slingshot, and again, possibly just a bit... You can see here Dave's got a good run, didn't expect Scott to really maintain that exit speed as well, which he did very well.
Massive central on there. That was a beautiful move there, and he just had that. I just couldn't believe how that beautiful exit. He just nailed that exit. That was so nice. Nathan Verney just had a bit of a moment on track, guys.
That was that earlier moment. So, but yeah, he's pushing the car hard. But when it's broken, what can you do? This is a car of trust. To get the most out of it, you've got to trust the aero. You've got to send it, right? Because you've got to be wary for the first few laps of tyres. But once they get up to 10, you can really send it into the corner and it sticks. Now, the problem is that you start to get really confident with that. And when it sticks, you see Steve Brown just getting on the dirt on the exit there and giving Scott a chance to run around the outside. He's just carried way more speed. And Dave Unger looking to make a move up the inside here. He's almost got it done. But somehow Steve's able to chop his nose off. Maybe Dave just thought better of it to get out of it there. Oh, nice.
So.
Nice opportunistic move from Dave Unger there, though. He took advantage of that. So having a look at Scott's move here. And I think what's happened there is that's thrown Steve sort of a bit out of whack, and he's got out of it. And can we flick back to the other guys? Shimmy. If we have a look at that again from maybe Steve's angle. Because he was looking to take advantage of that again, or Dave was looking to take advantage of that. All right, so again, thanks to SDK for this. So yeah, so as Scott's gone up the inside, you can see that Steven's sort of a bit offline. He's broke fairly early there too. Had to stay tight, and yeah, so he's compromised his run there. And then Dave's looked to try and sweep right around the inside, and just that's some pretty good driving here. Dave's ended up on a tight angle, and that's just cost him a few days of exit speed there. But look, you've got to be in it to win it, and Dave's certainly there, pushing hard.
He'll stay on the back of these guys, and I'm sure he will stay on the back of these guys. Steve Brown and Dave Unger were having a great battle before that. So, and Scotty's obviously started last, so he's on the big charge. But we know how much pace Scotty's got. So. Breaking world record pace, or unofficial world record pace, as to say.
That's right. And so far, I think this will make it. So now we've got two unofficial world record beaters in this SRW Radical V8 series. So that is Scott Callahan and Matty Jones, and Matty unfortunately working tonight, so he's not able to be with us. So I saw he's on the watching the stream there. So shout out to you, Matty. We'll hopefully see you next week. And I think that both Scott and Matty have shown that they seem to be just a second or more quicker than the rest of the field. So definitely those guys have got the down of the car. Dave Unger's one of those guys that's been driving it for a long time. He knows the car really well. And I think he'll get the most out of it. He'll be the most consistent across all the races.
Yeah, he's already seen quite a few catches from him tonight already, haven't you? So.
Well, that's right. Both him and Nathan having a couple of big moments there, but they caught it. So that's excellent stuff. And so he's doing okay. So we're having a look at another SDK moment. Dean Sinkovich. Oh no. So Dean went in and pitted to fix that car. What's he done here? Just got caught out by the bumps and just a little bit too much accelerated there, just rotating the car around. All right, he's got it going without any further damage, so that's a good thing. But unfortunately, we were talking to Dean a bit earlier before the broadcast, and he was ruining a couple of spins last week. And I know the first one wasn't, really your fault, buddy. You were trying to avoid smashing into those boys. But it's what happens in racing, I suppose.
Yeah, that's just racing, isn't it? Sometimes you're just wrong place at wrong time, and some races you're at the right place at the right time, and you just sail through it all. So you take the good with the bad, right?
Well, we can see here, Tyson is doing okay now. It sort of looks like Nathan Burney has been taking time out of Tyson the last few laps. It looks like I've almost been a second and a half quicker the last couple of laps. So, so Nathan finding his confidence again in that car. Though I think it was the last lap. The last lap Tyson took out a second and a half on Nathan. I apologise. So But again, these guys have spun and they're a fair way back because of that incident on turn 1. So, sorry, was it turn 1? Sorry, it was turn 3. Turn 3, turn 4.
lap 1.
Yeah, lap 1, that's right.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
that cost them 20, 30 seconds. They're now 35 seconds behind David Unger. And it looks like we've got another SDK replays. This Dean again. Oh, no, Dean. Oh,
I hope he didn't do any damage this time.
he's
Oh,
just maybe just trying to really, and this comes down to that trust part of the car. So maybe the lap before, he did that the lap before and the car stuck. So you go to do it again next lap and it doesn't. And you're
and how lumpy it is, and also he had the pits as well, so that car might not still be 100%, so he might be a little bit over the place. So
should be. We haven't seen him tag a wall yet, and there is a fast repair available to these guys in the race tonight. So
cold tyres. We'll give him cold tyres. Benefit of the doubt.
I don't know if we can, man, because he pitted a fair way ago. But it's it's no slouch, and it's no shame on these guys with the spins in these cars because as I said, that they're a nimble car, that has just enough downforce to make it feel like it's a high downforce car. We know that they don't have high downforce, but because it's so light, it feels like they do. Yeah, exactly. So, so the thing is, and as we said, to get the lap time out of it, you've got to be on the edge, sending it. And if you watch our race leader here, Scott Callahan, he's already taken a 1.3 second gap on Steve Brown, but he is, one of those guys that's just able to push hard and get the most out of it. And they're just a tricky car. They sound a simple car, and I suppose they are. With two motorcycle engines.
That's what makes them hard. There's not much to them, I suppose, right?
Well, it just makes them nimble, mate. And anytime you've got a light, nimble car, you're on the edge of grip. You don't have weight of the car helping it into the tyres sort of make contact with the surface. So a place like Sebring with all these bumps, it's going to bring out the worst elements of this car.
Yeah, fantastic, man. It's such a I haven't done that many laps around Sebring, to be honest, and I've only really done them in these cars. So, do you have much experience in other cars around here?
And only the V8 supercar, buddy. I did do some practice for the Sebring 12-hour in the LMP, I think, but never ended up doing the race. I think just had too many commitments that weekend, gigs and stuff. But look, in the supercar, those bumps really don't mean much at all. With those big heavy beast sort of things. In the LMP, you had to be a little bit careful in a couple of spots. But in that car, you also sort of tried to stay off the curbs as much as you could too. Whereas the V8, you can smash it over the top of them. This week.
So you don't really feel them as much, or it doesn't really make that much of a difference because those cars can kind of take it a bit more, right?
Yeah, they've got to be big, angry. They've got to be big, angry curbs to hurt the supercar or put in the wrong spot to sell it. Because there are, curbs that you could take in the supercar, but you don't want to because it will compromise your exit speed or your entry for the next corner for a complex, that sort of thing. But these cars here, look at how close to the ground that's running. Maybe 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah, it's that. Not even that. It's like a centimetre. Look at that. You can barely see any track underneath that front splitter.
Well, you could imagine driving these things around here for real, and I think the F1 at Miami, that porpoising, is exactly what you would feel doing these things for real around this track.
Most definitely. You have to think about your athlete and your driver in the car when you.
Dean Singovich going into the pits there maybe to get his compulsory fuel. I don't think he's damaged the car, so I think he's maybe just realised that he was in the front of the leaders and thought he might as well pit now, get his pit stop done. But just, I have to talk to maybe Dean later on and find out what was wrong with that car and the reason that he did that fast repair on lap 2, because that's pretty much thrown him out of the equation now, unless we have a safety car bringing these boys together.
Yeah, I don't envision the safety car coming out, and we had 3 cars come together earlier, so we didn't see one come out, so it might not be feasible. Not with this, just a bit of a cut down grid for tonight?
Yeah, look, as we said, I mean, we wish that everyone could make every round, but we've all got real lives. We know that this is not a game, it's a simulation, so I will not say it's a game, but it is virtual, so I think, most of us out there put a preference on real life versus virtual, so, it's understandable. I suppose we're not ready player one just yet, are we?
No, not quite. One day. But what a great movie on the other side.
Oh, mate, the tech. Oh, look at that for a moment for Steve. Oh, that's going to give Dave a chance to get back at him here. Can Steve get back up the pace? He was trying to keep up with Scotty, and we can see that. I think he's had a slowdown there too, by the looks of that, because look at how much Dave is closing up on him. He's trying to hold the inside. Looks like he might. If he did have a slowdown there, he's washed that off. But this battle is back on, buddy. You were talking about it before. It's back.
Come on, let's go. We've got John Cashin just said try a 250cc supercart round here. Wow, that would be pretty intense. That would rattle your bones to nothing, I think.
Oh, God.
Grind your bones to dust.
Oh, look, it's been some awesome racing so far, even though we've only got a small field of 7 drivers tonight, guys. We're on lap 14 of 34. Currently, it is Scott Callahan, our race 1 and 3 winner. No, sorry, he came second in race 1. So our race 3 winner last week. Was Barber, was it? Yeah, it was Barber.
Great track.
And it was an awesome track with these cars, I must say. Yep, so, what was it, 650 miles, I think the map said, from Barber to Sebring. So 10 and a half hours by road, by car, so what, truck maybe overnight?
Truck and trailer, yeah.
Overnight maybe. Tyson's still going around with this damaged car. I'm actually surprised he hasn't pitted a bit early, but probably similar to me, mate. He doesn't realise it. The car still feels alright. He's gone, oh, it feels good. He's running a bit quicker than he has been. His last lap was at 157, but he's still sitting in around those mid 156s. Yeah, he's been in the 56s. I think it was a lap or two ago. Was all 3 of our current podium runners were in the 54s. So those boys, as the fuel's starting to come out of the car, they're really finding their pace. Nathan Burney here trying to close in on Tyson. Now 7 seconds behind, so I think Nathan's had a bit of a moment there again. But we haven't noticed anything thanks to SDK. Dave Unger did have an off, but I think that was a while ago as well. But you can see there, just dropping a wheel on the dirt, trying to use all of the track. That's what you need to do to be fast around here, Todd.
Oh, 100%. It's especially as you see, especially this corner right here, it looks like he's not even driving on the track. You know what I mean? That's a perfect example. You have to use all of the track plus more at Sebring, even more than you think you should, or would be legal for you to be allowed to use, essentially.
Well, you can float wide on that corner back there, the T3, T13, turn 13, the tower it's known as, but it's actually one where I think, in the radicals, these guys are taking actually a bit tighter line that you might see with the, I think the LMPs and the V8 supercars actually go out a little bit wider and use even more of that off to really turn in tight and get the run, So
where is the actual track limit then? Because, you got a track limit line normally, and on that, it's well outside of it.
Yeah, I can't recall if there's actually one out there in iRacing that there is a track limit. See, Nathan just had to arrest the car there a little bit. It was a bit out of shape for him. Having a look at Steve Brown here in P3 at the moment. So Steve just with that little moment before you could see there though. So is he starting to think, is this going to be a race that maybe brings tyres into it? That would be interesting because some of these guys are starting to lose the rear of the car out here a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's a race in the calendar that they might actually take tyres at the pit stop. I think, was it Scott Callahan said last week that he didn't take tyres? I don't think so. So far, I don't think we've seen any of the front runners take tyres. But you can see there the rear of that car looking light and dancing. Maybe that's more just the fuel load dropping out of the car and it makes the rear of the car light. I know that a lot of the time in the V8 supercars, sometimes even when you're doing your quali laps, you'll run 30 or 40 litres in the car because it just feels better with a bit more weight in the rear. You get a bit more drive out of the corner. These things here, barely weighing 700 kilos with all the fluids. You know, you take 30 litres out of these things, that's 30 kilos. It's, you know, almost, half a, was it 5% of the total weight of the car, so. Alright, so Scotty Callahan into the 153s with a 153.9. Should you be telling me the world record is only, what, another tenth beyond that, is it? Or 2 tenths? Okay, so 53.05, the 53 flat pretty much, so yeah, he's within a second of the world record, but the fuel's coming out of the car, and it could be on the cards again tonight, buddy. I mean, that's crazy. Shibby said that time puts him in 28th, and we're just coming into halfway. One more lap, we'll make it halfway for these guys. Oh, big moment there from Dave Unger, but he's caught it. He got on the gas, but that's those bumps. Yeah, that's those bumps, buddy. You know, the wrong time.
Nathan Verney's had a bit of a moment as well.
Oh, another moment from Nathan. Again, thanks to DSL Welding Services, Dragonrc, and the promo department. Yeah.
Oh, that wing's really giving you some trouble, right? The back of that rear suspension, I think, might be having a bit of trouble there.
But I tell you now, man, when I had a damaged wing, I didn't think it was the wing either. I just thought, oh, carried too much entry speed. I've tried to turn too quick.
Yours definitely didn't have as much rear end damage as his, though. Yours had wing damage, not just the whole rear end kind of smushed in a bit.
Tyson looping it as well.
Oh, what a move! Come on! Tokyo Drift Stars.
Oh, that's going to bring this battle back again as he managed to, well, he sort of almost did a 3-point turn then, didn't he? To get that
he's just doing some stunt driving out on track there, Tyson McAvoy. Nicely done.
But these boys are pushing along, so perhaps they are thinking about tyres because, or as I said before, maybe they don't really realise that their cars are beat up as much as we think that they are.
100%. I was just thinking also, something I was just thinking about how fast that time was from Scotty Callahan. Our qualifying time was only a 155.5, right? Or was it just low? It was definitely not into the 54s. So we've got.
No, I don't think so. The quality
already
times
into the 154, so that's faster than our qualifying times already. It's probably partly to do with the fact that we've got a lot less fuel and stuff like that. But these tyres have been getting on, and we've all got a little bit of damage. So, except for the top 3 guys. So yeah.
Well, it's remember it's a fixed series tonight for the Radicals. So the drivers were talking about the setup through the week and that. So, but that means that when they start the qualifying, you've actually got to burn off the fuel because it'll be fixed limit. So you can't just run out there with 5 litres in the car. You've got to run out there with whatever it's set to, and I think it's set to 50%. So that, I'm not sure how big the tanks in these. Probably make it about 30 litres of fuel, I think, if I remember correctly.
Doesn't sound like much, but they do quite a few laps on that, on that small amount of fuel because of these engines.
That's right. Yeah, they wouldn't have the fuel burn of the V8, so, the V8 supercar, I should say. These things still are a V8, but they're a 2.8 litre or 2.6 litre V8, aren't they?
Yeah, 2.6 litre, which always blows my mind. It's like, wow, that's crazy, 2.6 litre V8. I didn't even think that should be humanly possible, but yeah, apparently it is. Strap a wing to it. There we go.
From all word I've read on them, they're actually a surprisingly easy car to work on, motor-wise, and that they don't really have any major gremlins. I mean, you're looking at fiberglass bodywork, so
they can
just do a
moving
mold
parts.
Exactly, and I suppose a great sort of series for people that are sort of beyond the entry level real racers out there, but you know, wanting to step it up and get a car that's got, you know, good aero and quite an exciting package to race. You know,
Yeah, you
'cause
can
I'm sure.
actually race these down. You can drive these down at Highlands Motorsport Park in the South Island of New Zealand, actually. I was looking into
Awesome.
it. I was like, ooh, is that an SR8? And I was like, that's a radical. And yeah, you can actually do, I think, 6 laps around there. It's not the biggest track, but, you know, they give you
Oh, that's
a
nice.
couple of instructor laps, and then you get to go out and do 5 laps yourself. So it's pretty
That's,
fun, I reckon.
well, I remember I saw a video on YouTube of one of the sim racing channels, and one of the guys went over to the French Grand Prix. There's a Paul Ricard, the track Paul Ricard.
Oh, really?
And you could actually pay, and I think it was like €2,500 or something like that, to get 3 laps in the I think it was the 2008 or 2011 Renault Formula One car. I think it was 2005 or 8 because Renault were out of it for quite a period there. You can actually drive a real life Formula One car around there. And what they talked about was the brake pressure required. They got him to stomp on it as hard as he could, and he could still only get up to 50% of brake pressure. But they said that was really good for not a physical driver, you know, right?
Well, that really goes to show you how fit these guys really are. A lot of people
Oh, that's right.
oh, they're sitting in a car and driving it. Nah, mate, you know.
They're
us normal,
laying down. They're laying down in a car.
yeah, us mere mortals, we pass out just from the G-force, let alone being able to push on the brake pedal. You
Well,
know,
that's
like,
right.
yeah, craziness.
And what he said with the final, one of the last things he said is that they only let you do 3 laps because after 3 laps you start to get confident with the car, and that's when you end up binning it.
Oh, really?
So they pull you out because they said that, you know, he said it was you're not expecting the brake power. So he said the first time when he broke to go into the corner, the car almost stopped completely, and he's like, holy shit. It just stopped on a dime, right? He wasn't going super fast because he was only just going out, but when he hit the brake, it just stopped. And but yeah, so I'm sure that driving, it's a good save from Steve there. Oh, and we were just having a nice, gentle chat about F1 and real world drives and stuff. And Steve decides to just break up our conversation with a bit of action. Oh,
Yeah,
look at that. He's caught it well, hasn't he?
He has, hasn't he? That could have ended so much differently.
Oh,
Wow, well done.
2 bits of snap oversteer there, I reckon. And he's gone, okay, that's enough. I'm coming in fuel. Scotty Callahan also in the pits. Let's keep an eye on that, see if he changes tyres. I know, he's got fuel.
Not sure if these boys really will, hey, with the dog
rear of the car is lifted, so I think he's doing tyres, mate.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, yes, too. Rear tyres by the look of it. Just, was it?
Well, I'm not sure. Hey, I'm not sure about the animation in iRacing, whether or not it, because I know when this happens with the V8 supercar, you actually see the tyres disappear and then reappear. So I don't know if that's the same or not. So it'll be a question that we ask Scotty at the end if he maintains his current form and finishes at the top of this race. Now a 12-second gap from Steve Brown, so he's opened out that gap and really taken advantage of the pit stop.
Tell you what, Scotty's been like a fine wine tonight, you know. He just started really right at the back and just matured the whole race very, very nicely. You know, there's a bit of chef quote for you.
Well, look, it wouldn't surprise me if that start of his was just a bit deliberate. Let the guys get ahead, make sure that if anyone's going to take anyone out, they've got a spinner under the bridge there. Yeah. Oh, Dean in the wars again with a spin there. So, again, I think it just
but he's keeping it off the wall, which is nice. You know, he's spinning, but he's catching it, but he's still keeping it off the wall, etc. So he's. You
can see there, that's all throttle. Yep. Oh, the snap oversteer got him. I thought he'd saved that then.
Yeah.
The snap oversteer, that second bite of the cherry that the car seems to have.
100% it does. It definitely does. It just bites.
Well, if you run a heavy direct drive setting like me, mate, sometimes I let go of the bloody wheel when that shit happens.
Me too. 100%. Get your thumbs out of the way because that stuff real hurts, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I made that mistake not turning it down for Saturday Night Mayhem one night. Oh, not fun.
We can see that Dean is still trying to push here because, you know, that early incident and pit stop really cost him and has put him basically a lap down, him and Leon, running a lap down on the field at the moment. But again, you can see he's still trying to trust the car and send it in. As I said, if you don't send this thing, it's not fast. And it all becomes now, the next few laps, build back up to that pace again. Back corner, you'd be thinking, okay, I carried too much speed last time. Can I go through it a little bit cleaner? Next one. Oh, no. Oh, okay, he's just decided to ski. So maybe those tyres are starting to look a little bit worse for wear. Or he's got a drift car on track, Shivy says.
A nice blunt slide on the curbing there. Actually.
Well, there's a little bit there's a bit of a dent in the side of that cast there, so perhaps that has done a bit of damage to the aero. Again, these things don't have a lot of aero, but a dent in the wrong place is going to mean that it'll drag, and perhaps that sort of starts to unstabilize the rear. Nathan Verney, look at that nice straight wing there, Nathan.
Look at that. Beautiful, mate.
That's Leon, sorry. Well, Leon's had a straight car all night, so he's kept himself out of any mischief. Still trying to get to grips and find his pace in this car, but it's great to have you with us, buddy, and the Locked On Sim Racing boys. We love having you guys on board, and hopefully, moving down the future, we can get all of the groups in for a chat and talk to them, and we might even see if we can grab the entire field in tonight. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds like a good party. That sounds that sounds like a bunch of fun.
We are on lap 20 of 34 at the moment, so now well past halfway of this race. We've got a nice battle starting to brew between Nathan Verney and Tyson McAvoy, though I think Tyson just made a mistake before when he was closing up there. Can you confirm that for me, Shimmy?
Not far back, but he did have a bit of an off track there too, also. So.
All right, so we're going to have a look again, thanks to DSL Whirling Services. So this was coming out of the pit, was it? So it looks like Tyson has had a spin there, and Nathan's got him. So maybe we can have a look and see what happened to Tyson there. All righty. Thanks again for your great camera work here, Chevy. So, a bit of dirt. A bit of dirt. Has he kept that out of the wall? No, he hasn't. That's going to hurt. He just got
damage on that front left.
Oh, he just got that car fixed. Oh, no.
Oh, no, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's done some serious damage to that.
Oh, the inside
front suspension.
That's not going to be... Maybe go on board, and if you can, when we go back live, Shibby, and we'll see what steering angle he's pointing at down the straight. May have done some suspension damage there, and we believe he already had a damaged car before, and it was a straight wing now, so he's used his fast repair. So this might be a handful. Doesn't really look like this has Scott Callahammer on board with at the moment, I think. So
he's having a great race. Absolutely flying.
Tyson McAvoy. Let's have a look at Tyson. And so that car's hurting. Yeah, I'd say she doesn't want to turn.
No, not at all. Wow, and that's got a lot of rubbing on that front tyre too. Wow.
To confirm, if anyone else knows if they've got, let's have a look and see if he's got a second fast repair or not. No, it doesn't look like it. I'd say he's got a meatball flag there as well. And he's jumped out of the car, so that might be the end of Tyson's race for tonight, unfortunately. Sorry to see you go, buddy. I know you were having a great battle out there with Nathan, who benefits and jumps up into P4. So,
just on a side note, mate, Scotty's just done a couple of laps ago, he did a 153.8.
Yep.
So he's just beaten his 153.9 even, so
yeah,
faster than he'd gone before.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Scotty near the end of the race, because we do know last week at Barber, I think he set a 16 flat on the second last race of the second last lap of the race, I should say, and that was still under the world record time too. So
yeah, craziness. That just shows the caliber of everybody in here, guys. So we do normally have a few more guys racing in the Radical SR8s, but make sure, guys, jump in, make sure you watch, and also there's always places to come and race with us, come and practice this season and enjoy next season. I'm not sure. Please help me, guys. Are we still
Well, I
open
believe
for
the
registrations for the radicals?
yeah, I'm not sure about the radicals, but I know that the rallycross on a Friday night is an open series, so anyone can jump in that. And unfortunately, I've got a gig this Friday, so I won't be able to jump in again. But I do plan on trying to jump in one of them and have a bit of fun with the boys.
It's always a bit of fun. It's always really good.
Oh, Shibby's saying he wants to get back in it. Oh, he came 5th last week overall, so Shibby had a good week.
Very nice.
He's keen, but
I'm happy to host then, Shibby, a new race for Friday then. Sounds good to me.
Well, the thing is, it's good to see that, you know, even us on this side of the fence for SRW, we're all trying to get involved with the leagues as well. So, you know, I'm racing the V8s. Got to get you in one of those series there, Toddy.
Oh, most definitely. I've only got the Saturday, Sundays, and Mondays off at the moment, so I don't think I'd love to get into V8 next season, maybe, or NASCAR.
Oh, NASCAR, yeah, NASCAR. That was
maybe the NAS trucks, or
sneaky little. Well, we've got Dano racing the NASCAR trucks on a Monday, and he actually runs.
Just probably try and take me out, though, I reckon.
Well, no, he won round 1 apparently. You know, because I know
was it good luck or good driving, though?
Depends whose story you listen to, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You know, Dano's all the truth. No, I wouldn't say that, Dano.
Just winding you up, Dano.
Dano's a 3 rating driver,
he?
so he's probably better than me at this bloody game. Oh, sorry, simulation, I should say, not a game. I got myself into trouble again. But yeah, so look, you know, it's great fun. Tyson's our super show commentator, so for the V8s, and so he's racing here tonight, and yeah, we've got the Sinkovich boys that are always out there racing, having a ball.
Yeah, absolutely having a ball, and I've been out there in this SRW colours as well, in the GT4s and stuff, and official races. So I'd love to get into some SRW colours next year and do some laps around the track, add some extra support to the track, eh?
No J-Mac tonight, so you know, probably needs to spend some family time with the amount of effort that those boys have been putting into SRW behind the scenes, and the you know, I know Shibby's a workhorse that maybe needs to say no occasionally, buddy. You should add that word to your vocabulary sometimes, I think. But it's awesome. I'm all beer apparently, so SRW supply the beer, and Shibby will keep working. I know he's working on some more camera angles for these cars. It's sort of a work in progress, trying to get those best angles. I think what you say, it was the gyro cam and the rear chase cam are not up to scratch, buddy. So he's working behind the scenes. So yeah, there you go. Roll bar as well. So he's working on these. So the idea is to give you guys the best angles that we possibly can, and we try to keep it as realistic to a proper race camera as well, though every now and again you might see the SRW blimp flying around above the track, and we get that nice aerial. Just so happens we've got a blimp that we bring to every racetrack.
Yep, just so happens. Shibby takes, on a side note, Shibby takes donations in beer as well, guys out there in internet land and out in the world. Shibby takes donations in beer.
Shibby, is your nickname Shibby or Bender, Nathan? You don't laugh. He said he loves Futurama too.
Yeah.
Well, being the fuel for the robots in the car, was that Groenig's Futurama? Pretty cool. Yeah, awesome stuff.
Like Simpsons in the future, but more grotesque.
That's what it is, you know. So, well, I mean, what Simpsons? They must be getting close to 30 years on the air now.
Oh, it's
crazy. Pretty close to that. Apparently. 86 for the Simpsons, so we're talking 36 years or something. Oh, jeez. Wow. Longest running TV show ever now. And, yeah, animated. Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? And it was actually designed as an adult cartoon, not as a kid's cartoon. Believe it or not.
Bart was the central character in season 1, and then with Homer with the different voice, and then what's his name? Castellas. What's the actor's name? Can't think of his first name.
Who knows?
Something Castellas is the voice actor that does Krusty and
Ooh, an action
Homer
replay now for
and
Bernie's had a bit of a crash here.
oh no.
Oh, a bit of an action replay. DSL, thank you very much, DSL Welding Services.
Just hot again on that exit. It's just, it's one of those cars. Once you start to lose the rear, you can see how difficult it is to stop it. Like even the guys that have saved it, they've pretty much washed off all of the speed of the car just to stop it from spinning. And it's a big, sideways drift under no res where you just get off everything, let it settle itself, and then get going. Whereas you try to tether it, try to keep the gas on it. Thing wants to rotate around on you at a heartbeat.
Yeah, not to mention the scrubbing on the tyres. In that said, a little bit of an off or spin, and then getting back to the right way round sometimes gives you some pretty high tyre pressures, etc. Just trying to get it round. So your next kind of couple of corners can be a little bit sketchy then too, because your tyres aren't to their optimum once again. Yeah, they're going to be hot, but they might be too hot and they might have a bit too much pressure in them. So it can be a bit sketchy, especially in these cars, because it can be a flow-on effect that you might save at one corner, as we've seen, and then the next corner you kind of come up, you overcook it a little bit too much more, and it just doesn't have anyway not as much forgiveness.
Well, you light up the rears, man, and suddenly they're a couple of degrees hotter than they should be, and that puts them out of that operational window. And
as we've just seen,
then
just had another crash.
Oh no, or spin again, probably trusting it. Look, I would not be surprised to think that. Yeah, I just lost the rear. I'm just wondering whether or
Must
not.
be getting sketch as.
Yeah, man,
And the bump.
I'm wondering if this might have been the track where tyres were the go, because we're starting to see a few little mistakes up and down the field.
And we saw Scotty Hallahan definitely put some tyres on. We're not sure if he put front Zenmax on, but
I don't know. The rear of the car lifted up. Nathan Burney recovering there again. Was that Leon Williams? I think it was Leon Williams there that had a little moment as well.
Yep.
So we might have a look and see what happened to Leon. Unfortunately, guys, there's not enough cars out on the track, so we're showing all of your mistakes. They're getting plenty of airtime, but we're hoping we know that most of the drivers jump in and watch the replay of the stream, so we're not picking on you guys. We're just trying to find some light-hearted moments. And again, yeah, look, it's just, I think
he missed his braking point, and that's all he could do there. He's just gone straight ahead out of that corner.
If he had tried to turn that in, it just would have rotated. So yeah, he's going to turn it in.
Wing at the back too. So.
Well, he's going to turn it in, and he's gone, nah, it's not going to stick. I've got to go straight.
Just saved that before he touched all. I was very, very lucky.
I think he touched it, but not in any force or any damage. All right.
So Tyson's not going to come down for a channel. I'm a nightmare night, so yes, fair enough. That's all good.
That's all right. He's a commentator. He should be able to laugh at himself. I know he's done that plenty of times before, so... But that's all right, buddy. We'll see you next week and talk to you on Sunday, and hopefully you don't pick on me either, and hopefully I can avoid a spin like I had on Sunday. So you're not the only one out there, buddy.
Yeah, it happens to everyone, doesn't it? That's how you get better, though, by making mistakes, I reckon.
Well, to stand up, you must first fall down.
Yes, 100%, mate. Oh, look at that, Scotty. Oh, he's got some serious pace around here, doesn't he? You can just see that how much pace he's got there. Even though Nathan Burney's slowed down for him a little bit, just give him enough space. But you just see how much pace Scotty's got around here. He seems very comfortable around here. He seems more comfortable around here than he did seem around the last couple of weeks as well. So.
I think Nathan's missing his racing buddy, because him and Tyson will have a good battle for the first half of that race. So we are now on lap 28, so only 6 laps remaining. 1 lap shorter for Nathan now that he has been lapped by Scott. I think Leon and Dean are already a lap or 2 down, and Nathan will have to keep that car straight to avoid going back behind David and Steve, because they're only about 27 seconds back. But again, look at that car stepping out there, man. Just sliding on the rear car. Those tyres have maybe seen better days, I think.
100%. And, as we were talking about earlier at the start of the race, is that it's going to be very, very hard on one of the hardest tyres on on one of the hardest tracks on tyres. So it's definitely
Oh,
showing now. What was your stat earlier about it's twice as hard on the tyres for
oh,
the
the car.
Sebring 12 hour than it is for the 24 hours of Daytona?
That's right. There's a little shortcut there from Nathan again. So again, maybe that car just getting light in the rear, getting loose in the rear. A fixed series, so you can't change any bars or anything. I think there is a roll bar adjustment you can normally make in this car. So, you know, as it gets old, you can just see that, yeah, he's been pretty gentle there. And just
Always
the
avoiding that
bumps,
lump now, isn't he?
and with tyres that are starting to show a bit of wear, and then you overheat them by, you know, just going a little bit too deep or getting on the gas a little bit too early, and it takes nothing for you to, you know, spin like a top in these little things.
You can definitely see Nathan Verney just completely changed his line around that hairpin there, where that lump is. He completely avoided it on the outside, halfway through the corner, and then took the inside of the exit. So smart from him, just knowing that his tyres are like that, but it just might be just an evasive maneuver because he's just expecting his tyres to go now.
Well, yeah, you maybe just can't hold that tight line through Le Mans, and you know, and for that fast run, because the car just doesn't want to stay solid, you know, stay planted in the rear anymore. And it's that fine line, I think, again, buddy. You know, there's a very fine balance between too much throttle and not enough throttle.
Yeah, definitely. And all of the grip and none of the grip.
Well, it's a cliff, man. I've said it before.
It is
You know,
cliff,
I'm sure that the grip cliff exists. It is a real not just a mechanism, but it's and not just a metaphor. It's real as far as I'm concerned. That,
yep.
and
I
I suppose it is in the end when you talk about when they try to explain you know, the tyres and try to understand how it works. They will talk about you've got 100% of the tyre. You can either use that 100% any way you need to, but if you exceed it, that's when the tyre doesn't do what you want it to do, and you lose the car. So if you're braking and you're in a straight line, you can use 100% of braking for braking, 100% of the tyre for braking. If you're turning a corner and you're trying to use 100% brake, and you're turning, you're now adding turning percentage to the tyre, so now it's 120% and you lose it. So that's where a lot of it comes into trail braking, where you've got to come off the brake so that as you add steering angle, you're trailing the brake percentage back, so that you're trying not to use more than that overall grip of the car, because you're either using the grip to slow down, to speed up, or to turn.
Especially if you watch some of the faster guys and stuff like that, especially when it's in car and you can see their actual where they're putting their brake and accelerator input, they almost perfectly go up and down at the same time, but opposite to each other, but perfectly smoothly. And it's quite amazing to see these professional drivers and stuff do it. And it's kind of like just even watching those bars and seeing how smooth they are between the transference of and how they trail brake and stuff like that. That's where they get all these tenths that add up to seconds per lap, right?
Oh, look, and that's it. But, you know, we sort of, I think I was watching a Gamer Muscle video a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the sort of 5 different types of sim racers. So you've got your esports sim racers, so they're just your alien pace guys. Then you've got your hot lapper, right? And the hot lapper is the guy that can put in some really awesome laps out there, but get him in a race and offline and he struggles, you know, or he has incidents or whatever. Then you've got, you know, your happily average sim racer, or, you know, your fun sim racer, I suppose. So that's the whole bunch of guys in the middle that are mostly in it for the racing, aren't too worried about pace. They're still trying to find bits here and there, but it's more about the action, and I definitely fit myself into that category. And then you've got your friendly noob racer and your angry noob, right? So,
oh yeah, that's true. We've met lots of them, haven't we? Everybody, come on.
So, you know, the friendly noob is the one that, you know, will get out of the way, much like Leon tonight, who is still trying to find his pace in these cars. So he's making sure he keeps out of the way, doesn't want to ruin anyone's race. And, you know, and then you've got those angry noobs, and we've all met them out there. They don't necessarily need to be angry people. We're not talking about swearing over the radio, but, you know, those guys that can be, you know, aggressive and and push a little bit too hard, you know.
Yeah,
And
they don't know that they have actual brakes. They just use you for their brakes.
well, that's right. Yeah, bump you through the corner. I suppose you see it a bit more in the official iRacing races because they'll take the 4X and then you're out of the race now, so or far enough back that you're not going to trouble them again. And whereas sort of one of the reasons we have 24/7 looking after our race control,
Action replay here for Nathan Verne. He's had a bit of an off here again, I think.
he's had some moments tonight, Nathan. Oh, he's caught.
Those tyres are definitely ruined. Those rear tyres are ruined on that car. And we've actually, just on a side note, Scotty Callahan smashing it through with a 153.67. That has absolutely smashed the world record. That must have smashed the world record by about... Oh, sorry. 153.05 is the world record, guys. Sorry, I apologise. So we're still about half a second off, but he's still smashing it out. So we shall see. We've got Dave Unger here with a gallant effort as well, absolutely smashing it as well. He's got some serious pace, so he's built up a very big he's very good, comfortable gap to Steve Brown there with 3 laps to go. So very, very nice.
7 seconds. Yeah, well, I think again, I think Dave and Steve were a similar pace, but probably I think it's been sort of Steve's 3 mistakes to Dave's 2 maybe, and that's part of the reason that Scotty's been able to jump clear too. Also, his raw pace, Scotty's flying out there. But he is also, just hasn't made a mistake. Whereas we've seen Dave had to catch the car a couple of times. We've seen Steve have a half spin where he's had to catch the car, and it's those little moments that make the difference. When you've only got a small field, it doesn't take long for you to then be outside that toe, and it's a lot harder to get up on the back.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think actually Dave probably at the start there probably had a little bit of a bit more of a toe from Scotty at the first kind of lap and a bit, but that's probably not going to make too much of a difference. But yeah,
Scotty was at the back, so we had it was Steve Brown, Dave Unger, and I think was it Nathan?
Really good in the race. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but having a look at Steve Brown now, so he's got that car fixed and he has managed to. I don't think it had. Did it have any damage? I don't think it did.
No, he never got any damage on that car.
So he's kept that clean. So I think he's just, a couple of those half spins where they almost Dave and Steve, both of them had a chance to break away at various times during the race and then made a little mistake and brought the other person back into it. And Steve was unfortunately the last one to make that little mistake, and that's probably accounts for at least 5 seconds of that 7-second gap between him and Dave.
And he made that little mistake, and then he was passed by Scotty, and in that process, Dave got him as well. So and then Dave's just kind of run away 7 seconds ahead now, running through some of those little mistakes afterwards. So it's been really pretty eventful, even though with a small grid, guys. So we've and Dean Sinkovich seems to have a bit of trouble there. He's had a bit of an off track, it looks like there, or a bit of trouble with these very aging tyres or ailing tyres.
And well, we're coming into our last lap of the race, so this will be the last chance we get to see the SRW machine, and looks like, unfortunately, we're probably going to see it sideways again. Yeah, look, he's just lost the rear again. And look, it is very much an attribute of these cars, guys. So everyone out there watching, we're not trying to hang shit on anyone for spinning the car. I drove these for a season last year, earlier this year.
Perspective how hard they vary, how much.
I think I had a spin every race, man. I think it might have been one race that I didn't have a spin, but I still had a couple of big moments where I had to get right out of it to catch it.
I can't even do a lap in these. I can't even try and do practice without having a spin at least once.
Leon put some marks on that car now, so something happened to Leon, because he had done pretty well on the front of that car. It was looking pristine, and now it's looking a bit scratched up. We've got a chance to look at it. Thanks, Shibby. We can just see it's already got damage there, so yeah, he's just run deep and tagged the wall again, but oh no, he's kept it out of the fence. Nice work. We better get back to the front, buddy, because Scotty Callahan would be almost finishing. He's coming just coming onto the back straight now. Our race 3 winner, and if he keeps it straight, will be our race 4 winner for tonight. Starting from the back of the grid and even missing the start there, perhaps deliberate. We will talk to Scotty and ask him there of his strategy at the start. Maybe just wanted to stay out of the mess, but you can see here he's done it easy and a comprehensive victory from Scott Callahan, our race 4 winner. Oh, one more lap. Oh, look, I'm calling it early. There you go. Oh, well. I've made that mistake for a while, Shibby.
White flag, guys. White flag.
Just gives me another lap to get excited. So, but no, he's doing well. Dean Sinkovich there behind, just trying to get this car around one more time, buddy. Keep it straight one more time, Dean.
Yeah, he'll be right. Scotty Callahan with a great drive again. He's only 5/10 outside the world record pace there for the best time. So with the 153.05. So great drive from him. Great to see him surge up through the pack and do it so very nice and cleanly, and just.
Well, just see how nimble that car was through there. He sort of got it turned in tight on a button, and it's just doing everything that he wants. And you know, you can see that he's not having to make a lot of sort of seesaw adjustments to the car, so he's just been able to be smooth and straight, fast, you know. And again, I think maybe look, we saw with Nathan, you know, he's starting to have a few incidents there, and I think once you light up those rear tyres and overheat them, then you're taking performance out of them, and then it just means you're more likely to light up again the next time, you know.
Yeah, and then if you do it 2 or 3 times, then you're forever in this like kind of downward spiral of come on, just stay straight.
Well, the tyres just are too hot and damaged now, whereas Scott is staying, you know, smooth. And just saying that, Shibby's looking at it, there's 3 purple sectors at the moment, so Scott Callahan looking to put his best lap on for the final lap of the race as he comes around Le Mans for the last time, going across the line. Our winner of race number 4 of our American Invasion V8 Radical Series, Scott Callahan, with a 153.7. So,
just outside 110.
But an awesome race from Scotty and supreme pace. I'm sure he probably missed Matty Jones tonight. Matty able to give him a great battle last week, and we missed you as well, Matty. So it'd be great to see you back next week, mate. You do have 2 drop rounds in this series, so if you can't make them all, it's not going to completely destroy your championship. There we go, David Unger coming over the line, 35 seconds behind Scott Callahan, so you can just see what a supreme drive Scott had there. No mistakes. Steve Brown coming down as well to finish in 3rd position. And the rest of the boys are lapped down, so they will be completing their races shortly. There we go.
We've got John Cashin just on the chat quickly. He said, great drive, Scotty, Dave and Steve. Awesome effort to all the drivers. Thanks very much, John. Thanks for watching the whole stream as well, mate. It's been it's been a small field, but sometimes great things come in small packages, right?
Well, that's it, mate.
That's what Shibby's wife tells him, apparently.
Well, Leon just limping his car around the final part there. He looks like, I think he might have hurt that. Yeah, he's hurt that car again, and he's had another moment. Shibby tells us, again, our last DSL welding replay by the looks of it. Is this as he's coming across the line? Has he bended across the line, has he? Oh, okay.
Is he running a field? Oh, no, he hasn't.
Finish? No, he's looking for the photo finish with the locked-on boys, I would say. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So that car looks a bit scratched up, Leon. I don't know if you're going to want a photo of that one, buddy. But, but yeah, so that's all good. And he's just lit it up coming around on the slowdown lap, has he?
There we go.
See Scotty Callahan with his victory donuts, trying to really get that car to flick, and it doesn't want to do it. Look at it.
Want to do
it. He's trying hard.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
just
a bit fast.
Back the wing into the wall, then it'll do Dowies, no problem.
That's it. But no, another great drive from Scott, so hopefully we can get him down into the chat. All right, buddy, if you want to take it over and read out the results and that, and I'll see if I can get a few of these boys down into the chat.
Sounds great, mate. So, guys, What an absolutely awesome race, guys. We had a small field tonight. We've had a few people use their drop round, I believe, tonight. So, but we will. I'm sure we'll have more tomorrow next week. And it's been some great rounds so far. So this is our round 4 for the SRW TV SR8 Radicals. For round 4, we're at Sebring tonight. Very historical track and awesome results from these guys. Scotty Callahan in first, David Unger in second, Steve Brown in third, wrapping out our podium. Nathan Verney in fourth, Dean Sigovich in fifth, Leon Williams in sixth, and Tyson McAvoy there in seventh. After we've had, it's a very hard, lumpy track to get around tonight, guys. So we had some mixed results and some very challenging racing from everybody else, from everybody in the field. But big shout out to our top 3, Scott, Dave, and Steve. Absolutely beautiful drives from you, all 3 of you, and the rest of the field also. I will be coming to bring some of our drivers and down for an interview very soon. We're just Cowie's just off grabbing them for now, so momentarily we shall have some other people in our room to have a chat. So, who should we bring down first? Should we bring our SoCal Scott Callahan down, our race winner, and very close to world record pace? We'll bring him down into the broadcast.
He's trying to tell me to shut up. No.
All right, we're bringing all the books. Can start to bring the boys in. We've got Scotty Callahan, our race 4 winner tonight. In, buddy. Good drive, buddy.
Yeah, it was a bit of fun.
So what happened?
Start from the back.
You it was intentional, and I saw you just gave it a moment or two to get the boys a chance to get ahead, and also maybe avoid that.
Yeah, and I didn't want any carnage in the first few corners, so I thought I'd give it a bit of a cap. But no, that was fun. It's a shame Matty wasn't here though.
Yeah, he's working tonight. He sold us, buddy, so he was unable to make it. So hopefully he's with us next week. But
I was a little bit worried though. I thought Dave and Steve might race away a little bit, but then I got through the field pretty quickly and was on them fairly quickly, and then they just let me straight through.
Well, it's those cars, man. I mean, we could see quite a few of the guys starting to lose the rear towards the end, where you sort of start to struggle with that yourself.
Well, I threw tyres on in the pit stop. I was a mile ahead, so it didn't really matter. But I did that at Barber too, actually. I threw tyres on at the pit stop.
That's right. I was trying to remember during the stream if you did or you didn't, because I know that Matty was right on your tail there for a few laps after you pitted at Barber.
Oh, yeah, well,
tyres up.
I lost about 7 seconds going down the pit lane trying to select the tyres before I got to my pit box.
Oh, okay, that'll do it too.
So, yeah, he caught right up then, and then I come out on cold tyres, so that didn't help. But, no, it was a bit of fun. I wish he was here, though, to give me someone to chase down. It would have been...
Of course.
It would have been fun.
He missed it at Laguna Seca when you weren't there. Was it? No, it wasn't Laguna Seca. Sorry, South Americas.
Yeah, I missed that, and he ran away with it. So we'll see how we go next week. I don't know what's next week. Road America, is it, or?
Good question.
No,
hang on, I can
Road
tell you.
Atlanta.
Give me a moment. It is. Daytona. Next round.
Daytona. Oh, I'll definitely start from the back at Daytona then. That's a draft fest.
Don't know if you checked this out yourself, buddy, but we were looking at your lap time from last week, a 15.975. Do you know that's almost 2/10 under the iRacing world record?
At Barber?
At Barber, correct.
Oh, yeah, I've always been quick at Barber. I only did one race at Barber last season, and I reckon I probably would have smashed it then, but I think I got down to a 4 then in one race, but I probably should. There's a couple of tracks that really suit my driving style, and Barber's one, Sebring's one too.
Well,
Canada,
you were about half a second off the world record for Sebring tonight, and We thought
Well,
you were
if
on.
we
You
had
were
a
getting
cooler
closer.
track, I would have smashed it.
There's first complaint by the drivers to the SRW admin team. Track's too hot.
40-degree track. That's why everyone was sliding around at the end
Yeah.
too. It wears
Yeah.
the tyres out so much.
Well, mate, last week that world record, so that makes 2 for the Radicals now. Matty got 1 at Laguna Seca, so some awesome stuff from you boys. Now, give you a chance. If you got any sponsors or any shout outs you want to do. I think we had was it John C, one of Dave's mates, was watching on the stream. You got any family or friends out there watching, buddy?
No, actually, no. I don't have any sponsors or anything. I'm only a weekend hack. But thanks for Dave and Steve. I mean, they were really nice to me in the race and just let me straight by. But yeah, no, I don't have any sponsors or anything. But thanks for Dave for inviting me in. He might be regretting it now.
So no one's snapped you up for a team as yet. So I have to see if there's any team vultures like myself out there. I snapped up Maddie for performance sim racing. So we'll just see what happens. But I've brought the rest of the boys in.
Anyway, so.
I've brought the rest of the boys in that have race tonight. So we've got Dave and Dean and Nathan and Leon in here, boys. Welcome to the post-race chat. I'll start with Dave.
Before you do, where's the drink section?
Well, you've got a drink button on your wheel, man. Haven't you got that sorted out?
Yeah, we get snacks in the green room too. I mean, can we complain about that or?
You can put it in writing if you like, Scotty.
No.
So anyway, Dave, so that was a fairly eventful race for you there, buddy. You got a great start. Yep.
Yep.
I did. I surprised myself, but look, I knew that, but I knew Scotty was faster than me, so, and he's starting from the back, and I'm like, you just go. And Steve, he was a bit quicker than me as well. Unfortunately, during the course of the race, he had a spin, and that put me in second place. And I'm like, well, all I've got to do is hold him off, and I managed to do that.
Well, we saw a couple of little sort of mistakes from yourself there with the rear starts to go around, but we could see that sort of both, you and Steve sort of managed to catch all of them, except Steve missed one. But was it just, the bumps and the track temperature out there just meant that as soon as you got a little bit taily, you had to arrest all the speed if you had any chance to catch it?
Yeah, you had to back off something wicked, otherwise you're just gone. So my powers of concentration came to the fore and, managed to keep it on the track.
How does the cockpit look for you when you're driving? How much was your movement on your sim on your screens or your VR bouncing up and down? Actually, is anyone here a VR racer?
Yeah,
you up, Dean, aren't you?
Yeah.
And Dave. And Nathan?
Yep.
So how does that look in VR with that bouncing down the coming through Le Mans 15 and 16 and the main straight?
I find that. Sorry, go on, Nathan.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's very disconcerting, and you just have to sort of go, okay, you turn in here and you brake here, and you get on the power there, and just trust it's going to get through. But a couple of times it didn't for me, but yeah.
Wasn't so bad. Sorry.
No, you're right, Dave.
It wasn't so bad for me in the VR. It was more the actual direct drive wheel because it was just bouncing all over the place.
so yeah, because I'm a triples man myself, not a VR, so that's why I was interested to see, how much are you bobbing your head as the car bounces? Is it like we're seeing the porpoising in the F1s?
I'm not a bobblehead, mate, but no.
I beg to differ, Dave. But
You could be right. No, I don't really notice it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. You don't really notice it. You can sort of see you moving around, or especially that last corner for me. The bounces there, you can feel it, and some other corners as well, and straights. But you don't notice it after a while. It just becomes part of reality.
But more about the actual car performance with those bumps and getting the gas on right, because we were commenting that almost looked like we were watching the F1 from Miami last week, as the cars were bouncing around there.
Yeah.
But, we know they're a tricky car to drive, boys. So, we might poke a little bit of fun. And, considering there was only 7 of you out there tonight, there might be a few more spins that got a bit of airtime. So we apologise, boys. But, suck it up.
No, I deserve it. Yeah. I think with this track, when sort of there's a big gap in front and a big gap behind, and you're going down these long, straights with lots of runoff and everything, I think my concentration really started to wane. So,
well, we know you were enjoying the battle with Tyson there before, and sort of he made a little mistake, and then you'd make a little mistake, but it just sort of kept you guys together. But he got the car fixed, man, and then binned it. So I know you you copped one as well, but I think Tyson had a meatball flag, so he had to resign from the race, unfortunately. But yeah, look, it was awesome fun. There were some good battles out there. It seems to be a place where you can get side by side and still get a good run through. So, the battles that we did see were great and intense. Dave, you got anyone you want to mention? We could see John C was on the chat for YouTube, and he was calling out a great drive to all the boys.
Now John's he doesn't sim race. He's a mate of mine, but he races by the seat of his pants. He races 250cc go-kart.
That's what he was talking about, supercarts, yeah.
Yeah. He lives about 7 minutes away from Phillip Island, so he just goes there whenever he wants and bangs around there in his supercar. So I'm extremely
awesome.
jealous. Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we got Steve. Steve's not in the chat, is he? So we're missing our third podium car. But look, I know that was only a small field tonight, boys. Probably just real life getting in the way for a few people. Don't know if Sebring's everyone's favourite track. But it's great to have you all out there, and thanks for giving us a great night of racing, boys. Alrighty, you got anything to say, Toddy? You want to have a quick chat to these boys before we wrap it out?
I think you've wrapped it up well, nicely, guys. Very nice racing out there tonight. Very impressive from you, Scotty, and very consistent from the rest of you boys. And good to see you out there. Very, very challenging track tonight with all the lumps and bumps and all the rest of it. So it's good to see no safety cars out tonight also. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I must say you're all brave, because I learnt last season how hard these cars are to drive, and so when they asked me to come back to see if I wanted to do a second season of racing, I said no, I'd rather talk about them. So well done, boys.
Yeah, well done, the top 10, Leon.
Top 10, yes.
No, it's good to have you with us, Leon. I mean, look, I call myself Cowie, your average sim racer. I've found a little bit of pace over the last couple of years, but it's one of the things about this great sim racing community, man, is that there's guys out there that are always willing to give you a hand and show you the ropes, and I can see you with the locked on boys, so you can't be in better hands, buddy.
Oh yeah, I like to say I've got all the gear and no idea, and I've got to be the slowest streamer out there, but
that's all right, buddy, mate. We do it for
it's
passion.
all fun. It's fun.
And look, you generally always find battle with someone out there. So
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter what pace you are. There's always going to be someone out there that you can have a bit of fun with and battle with, and that's what it's all about.
Except tonight.
Except tonight.
The
But that's all
battle with yourself.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, thanks for letting me through, Leon.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah. I think you would have got me in the end. You were. I had a fair bit of damage. Have a look at the replay at the end. I was slow.
Well, you kept that
just
car,
ran wide again for me.
you kept that car clean for a lot of that race, buddy. So we actually missed on the stream what happened, Leon. So. But that's great. It's great to have all you boys on board us. So I think with that, we can wrap up our coverage of round 4 of the SRW V8 Radical Series here on SRW TV. It's been awesome having you with us. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, follow button so you don't miss out on any of the action. Thanks again to DSL Welding Services and the Promo Department, our safety car sponsor. for tonight. And on behalf of the management and broadcast team here at SRW, Chef Toddy on comms,
Much love, legends.
our producer Nathan Shibby, Howard behind the scenes. This is Cowie, your average sim racer, signing off, saying good night, and we look forward to seeing you next time on SRW TV.
Good job, guys.
Much love, Toddy. Much love.